Hello everybody! Today we are having another little sit down video and it's gonna be book heavy. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but it is my cup of tea, so here we are. So there are no super specific plans for this time period regarding the house or the island. The festivals are going to slow down. There's going to be a lot less action happening after September is over. We are going to be traveling at some point, unfortunately not for a vacation but for health reasons. I really wish we were traveling for fun, but we're not, so yeah, that is that. That's life, unfortunately. And there are no specific plans for the house, like we just continue working. We didn't do a lot in the summertime. As I'm filming this, we still don't have electricity in the living room. But that is supposed to come soon-ish, maybe even before this video goes live, who knows, probably not. Same with the doors, we still don't have doors. They were promised to us throughout the month of September. Do I believe we will get them in September? No. But hey, you gotta keep the hope up, okay? Other than that, there is a lot of work to be done in the basement, which I assume will take place a lot in the fall and winter time because it can be indoors for the most part. And there's also some work that has to be done outside the house, which we hope we will get done before the rainy season starts, before the first storms come around, because that obviously needs good weather. Yeah, that's about it. And since there are no big life plans, I've decided to go completely bonkers with my reading plans. If you've seen my summer TBR, that was already a bit ambitious, even though I ended up reading 8 books in July and I think 2 books in August. I also DNF'd a bunch of books. So I had a good reading time and I'm very optimistic that moving into the future I will finally be reading again like I used to. Maybe not as crazy because I just don't have the time anymore that I used to have in university where I would read like over 100 books a year. I don't think I will ever get back to that, but I would like to get closer to that than I have been in the last couple of years. And I think I'm finally back and I'm very excited because I just love books so much. I'm also very clearly in my DNF era right now. I think I've never DNF'd so many books like I did in the last 2 months. And a lot of the time it's not because the books are just bad, it's just that I don't feel them and I don't want to waste my time on them. Like, just because a book isn't for me doesn't mean it's bad, but I just drop them like it's hot. A quick recap from the summer TBR I filmed, in case you've seen that and you're curious, from the, I don't know how many books were on there, but I've read 5 and DNF'd 3 of the books. But the 5 books that I did read, I really enjoyed. I read Something Wild and Wonderful, which I loved, it was amazing. I read The Oleander Sword, which I absolutely adored. No surprises here, I'm gonna pick up anything from Tasha Suri at this point. I also picked up An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green and I enjoyed it enough to immediately after that pick up the sequel. I did enjoy this series, however I have some critiques about it. I'm not gonna get into it because this video is gonna be long enough, but I did enjoy it. It was a good time. I read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which was a wild ride. I really enjoyed my time. And then finally, I also read Wild by Cheryl Strayed, which I liked, but I was a little bit disappointed because I just heard so many amazing things about this book. It's like the holy Bible of outdoor memoirs out there. And for that, it was a little bit underwhelming, but I still enjoyed my time definitely with this book. So my summer reading, if you do not count all the many DNFs that I had, was very successful, which led me to be absolutely crazy ambitious for my fall TBR. This is not even everything. I will never read all of these books in the fall, but I'm just so excited for all of them. Also, if you couldn't tell, I got my hands on my big book box that is stored away. It is still stored away. As soon as that electricity up there is installed, I'm finally gonna get it out of storage and unpack the books. Even though I don't have a bookshelf, I will just put it somewhere where I can see them because I just miss having my books around. However, I obviously pulled some books out of that box and this led to this. Let's start from the top, shall we? The first book is my current main book. I do tend to pick up multiple books at the same time, but I usually always have like my one main book that I carry around with me everywhere I go. And that is currently this book, and it is called Weltgeschichte der Sprachen von der Frühzeit des Menschen bis zur Gegenwart, which would translate to the world history of languages. So it is a very sciencey, nerdy nonfiction book, but it has a lot of anthropological elements, which I love. I studied cultural anthropology, if you didn't know, so that's totally my jam. I love this, and I haven't read anything in this whole realm in a long time, so I'm very excited about this. And unfortunately, my edition is from 2010, so it is a little bit outdated, but I saw online that they have released a new version in 2022 of the same book, so I would hope that that one is more up to date, because this one, as interesting as it is, there are a few things where you can definitely tell that it was written like 13 years ago. So yeah, actually it was written even before that. This edition was just released in 2010, but it was written in 2006. So yeah, it's been a while, but I'm enjoying myself so far. The next book is this one. This has an English translation. I'm going to leave the cover over here. It's called Der Wal und das Ende der Welt. It's another German one. It is contemporary fiction about a small coastal town, and a mysterious stranger appears and a whale appears too. And even though it is such a small isolated town, apparently it's going to change the world or something. Like the description on the back is not very specific. I have started this. I'm 85 pages into it, and I just don't gravitate towards it. It didn't hook me, which sucks because I was really excited for this book and I really liked the cover. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to finish this, to be honest. I will give it a fair shot. I will continue reading it for a little bit, but might be a while before I pick this up again and might become a DNF. Next up, we have Making Kin, Ecofeminist Essays from Singapore. This was a gift from one of my patrons, and I got this book, and pretty much I think like just a couple of weeks after, I had to put it in a box and store it away for a long time. So that was kind of sad, but now it's out of the box and I'm very excited to get into it. So as you can see, there are already some sticky tabs in here, not because I've read it, but because I wanted to separate the different essays. I'm not the hugest essay collection reader or person usually, so I've decided to divide it and just read like one essay per day or something along those lines. I haven't started it yet, so I don't know how I'm gonna do this yet, but yeah, I'm excited for it because I think it's gonna be amazing. I have a good feeling about this one. Before we continue on with the paperbacks, first a few ebooks, and the first one is Fresh Banana Leaves. This book was on my yearly TBR, and I'm very interested in reading it. I feel like right now is the perfect time for a book like this. Just like this and two more books that I have in my stack over here, those books are very much about sustainability and nature. And as you guys know, that's something I'm super passionate about. However, I didn't get around to really dive deep into this topic in a while, and usually around this time in the fall I host a climathon. However, I don't think I'm going to do that this year. I think I just need a break from life. I don't really know what's happening in the next couple of weeks and months in many areas of my life, so I think I'm not gonna do that, but clearly I'm still in the mood to pick up these books, so I'm gonna. The next one is Our Wives Under the Sea, which is a short contemporary fiction about two married women, like they're married with each other, it's sapphic, and one of them went on a deep sea mission and comes back and is completely changed. That's all I know about it, and that's all I want to know about it. I'm very excited to read it. I'm also going to buddy read this with Anya from Well Traveled Books, so if you want more in-depth reviews, follow her. Two books that are more like on the self-helpy side, that are kind of just left over from the last couple of months, but which are here with a grain of salt. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna pick them up because I'm clearly in a very scientific mood right now. Would be How to Do the Work and Love and Rage. Love and Rage was also on my yearly TBR. As you can see, I'm trying to get on top of that because I didn't read anything from that TBR except for two books. So yeah, those two are definitely options, but again, they're not on the highest priority of my TBR. Then I really want to read The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. I've heard so many amazing things about this book, and I know it's more like a summer book, but I didn't get around to it in summer. And for me, fantasy is very much fall and winter. So I do feel like right now is the perfect time, and I'm so excited to get around to it. Also, look at this cover. Isn't it the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen? I'm so obsessed with it. I really hope I'm going to like this book so I can buy it and put it in my shelf. Next up, we have two books by R.F. Kuang. I'm very sure I will only read one of them. And it's probably going to be The Dragon Republic. Because I've read The Poppy War already a while ago, and I don't know why I never continued, because I was obsessed with The Poppy War. It was one of my favorite books of, I don't even remember the year that I've read it in, but I was so in love with it. And I just never continued, and I don't know why. So now I really want to get back into the world. However, a book that does feel a lot more like fall would be Babel by the same author. But I do feel like I want to finish the series first before I dive into any of her other works. So maybe this one's for next fall. I'm not quite sure. Let's see. Let's get back to the paperbacks. First up, Der Russe ist einer der Birken liebt. This one also has an English version. I just don't remember the title. This is pretty short, contemporary fiction about, I think, a woman from Azerbaijan. Oh God, it doesn't say on the back. I don't remember, but this came highly recommended from a friend who has very similar reading tastes to me and who knows my reading taste very well. And she was like, you need to read this. So I'm going to. Next up, Entangled Life. I am so excited for this book. I got this as a little surprise Christmas gift last year from my partner. And I promised myself to read both books that he got me, this one and Absalom for the Wild Build, which I have read and loved. Go back. And I promised myself to read them before the next Christmas rolls around, because it was such a sweet gesture, because we had promised each other not to gift each other anything, because obviously, like, we bought a house. Like, every cent that we have is going into the house. So there is like no room for gifting each other things that have nothing to do with the house, but he still went out of his way to get me books. It's also very difficult to get books here. So that was huge. And I'm very bad at reading presents from other people. I'm just very bad at it. So I promised myself to make this a priority. And since I'm in such a science nature mood, it's perfect. And I'm very excited to get into it. The next book, I am going to show you the English cover instead, because this chunker, which is almost 800 pages long, I really don't like the German cover. I think it's very ugly. I'm going to travel with this probably. This is probably going to be my trip companion. But yeah, I really do not like the cover of the German edition of Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I think, maybe you don't think it's bad, but I think it's very bad. I really don't like it. So I basically know nothing about this except that it has something to do, I think, with color magic and gods, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm excited for it. Then we have this book, which for sure doesn't have an English translation. It's called Wir konnten auch anders, eine kurze Geschichte der Nachhaltigkeit, which is We Could Do It Differently, a short history of sustainability, which clearly isn't short. It doesn't look that thick on camera, but it's like 500 pages long. So it's definitely not a short history of sustainability, but I am very interested in reading this. I've never seen this book anywhere. I've never heard anybody talk about it. I found it at a used book sale, and I'm very intrigued because that's very much up my alley, isn't it? Like history, sustainability, yes please. And the last paperback, for those of you who really know me, who personally know me, who are my friends, if I show you the title, you know, if you know, you know, Genghis Khan. For those of you who don't know, I used to have a very long phase where I had a very unhealthy obsession with the Mongol Empire. And that obsession is back. ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure how deep I'm gonna get into it, but yeah, I'm in the mood. I'm so ready to get back into my Mongol Empire obsession. So yeah. Also look at this cover. This is one of the most beautiful books I own, hands down. Maybe the most beautiful book I own. I love this so much. It's so pretty. But it is a hefty book. I think it's how many pages do you have? 700 only? It does look much thicker than that. So well, but look at the margins. Oh my god. But yeah, I'm very excited to dive back into my favorite topic of world history. And last but not least, I chose 2 audiobooks. The first one is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. That definitely screams fall. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna like it. Dark academia is not really my genre. However, I did enjoy other books by the author, so maybe this one's for me. I'm gonna try, and if I don't like it, I'm gonna DNF it. And the other audiobook is what I am currently listening to, which also screams fall, even though it's still summer over here, and that is The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue, oh god. However you pronounce that last name, don't tell anybody I had 6 years of French in school, okay? I'm like 20% into it, I wanna say, as of right now. I'm not quite sure. It is also quite a thick book, so it will take me a while to get through it. And I'm enjoying my time so far. I really love the concept, and I know I like Schwab's writing style. I've read so many books by her at this point. They're very accessible and quick to read and entertaining, and yeah, let's see if this one becomes a 5-star, who knows. So this is it. I'm already like disappearing behind all the books. If I had all the ebooks also as print books, like I would be gone. But yeah, that is my little stack of books that I want to get to in the next couple of months, and I'm so excited. I'm in such a big reading mood, so yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you want to read in the next couple of months and what is helping you to get through the winter time as well, because at some point the winter is coming. Woo! I hope you're having a fantastic day. See you soon. Bye!